PlayStation 4 has aged incredibly well. Even after 12 years, when I go back and play something from the PlayStation 4 era, I still feel like I'm playing something brand new. It never feels like I'm going back in time almost. This generation gap from PS4 to PS5, in some cases, you can honestly not even tell the difference. The story-based games were awesome. And even multiplayer games in this generation weren't that bad sometimes. Kind of hard to find these days when you have a multiplayer game that isn't like Call of Duty or Fortnite. I remember playing PlayStation 3 for the first time and thinking to myself legitimately when I was playing it, I don't think we're ever going to see anything better than what I'm looking at right now. And after playing PlayStation 4 again, I'm not sure why I wasn't thinking that maybe at the time when PS4 came out, because after going back, I honestly don't know how it was even, or is it possible? Because again, I don't even know if sometimes some games even look better now. Some of the early PS4 games were insanely nicely looking. That sentence made no sense. But even when PlayStation, Jesus Christ, speak normally. We're in maybe the latter years, the late years of PlayStation 5, and I'm still wanting to play games on PlayStation 4. In fact, that's what I do more of when I play PlayStation 5. I play PlayStation 5, and most of the time I'm looking at the PlayStation 4 section in the games library. That's how good it is. After not really playing anything PlayStation 4 related for a while and going back and playing some of these games again, I'm honestly starting to think that PlayStation 4 is becoming one of my favorite consoles ever. It's up there with like PS3 and Xbox 360 at this point. It is really one of those systems you don't even really hear much about, or at least maybe I don't. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong areas or something, but whenever you hear someone say what is their favorite system ever, you don't really hear PlayStation 4. I guess I wouldn't say it's the best ever either, but it's never really in like someone's top 3 or something. Current generation everything makes me sad sometimes. But what doesn't make me sad is the PlayStation 4 era. Okay, so this is actually a very interesting time that I'm doing this, because at this point in time in the video, this is probably going to be sometime towards the beginning of the video. I'm not really sure why, and you might be like, what the hell is this guy talking about at this point? But apparently, there has just been a report that PlayStation 4 support might be coming to an end soon. If we're just going by what this timeline is, January 2026 is going to be just over 5 years that the PlayStation 5 has been out. And we're finally moving on from PS4. One thing that's not easy these days is trying to recover an account. I feel like beating an ostrich in a kicking competition would be easier than recovering an account on some websites these days. Sony is not that bad, actually. Let me tell you something, a Microsoft account is the hardest thing to ever recover. I still have never been able to recover my original Xbox 360 account. I didn't know my password, and then I'm like reaching out to support, I'm emailing people. That was the hardest. I still haven't done it, and it still remains probably the most difficult thing I've ever tried to do. Luckily, I was able to get back on this, and the good thing about that too is it saved my cloud storage, I guess, because this must have been the way that I did it. I was able to get games back that I haven't legitimately played in over 10 or around 10 years. 10 years. Sometimes you have a console that releases and you have this like special memory about it or something, so you feel even better about it than maybe something that's new. I still remember going to Best Buy for the first time. I may have said this a million times before, but it's still something that was just very silly of me. I still remember showing up to Best Buy at like 7 in the morning on the PlayStation 4 launch day. It may have been earlier than that. It was freezing. It was like November. I had just enough credit limit left on my credit card, and that's what I spent it on. It's probably not a good financial decision to spend the remaining credit balance on a video game console, especially when you don't really have any other income coming in at the time, which I didn't. But I was so dedicated to getting a PlayStation 4 that I was willing to legitimately spend every penny I had left in my name on a PlayStation 4, and that's what I did. It's safe to say that this is one of the greatest consoles ever, not even for the fact that it's my opinion or just gameplay or anything. Just the fact that this is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. I still forget that sometimes. It feels like that's like the most underrated system that's on this list. PlayStation 1 and everything, you just expect those to be very well-selling systems. PlayStation 4 is the only system behind PlayStation 2 in terms of a Sony console. I did make a video about PlayStation 4 many months ago. It's probably like late 2024, very, very early 2025. This time though, I wanted to make sure I was actually going back and playing games that I didn't really play in a very long time. Although I did revisit some games that I was very interested in playing again that I played a little bit ago. The thing about PlayStation 4 games is, it's hard to believe how good some of these games look graphics-wise and just in terms of story and everything. I don't know what the hell was going on over there at Sony when they released PS4, but they were doing something special over there. PlayStation 4 actually had some very good launch titles. I didn't realize that. Or I did, I didn't like think about it much at the time. Sometimes you don't really see consoles release with many games you might want to run to the store to get. It's not like they had like the greatest launch title lineup of all time or something. Even games like Need for Speed Rivals, which obviously is probably not one of the best Need for Speed games ever or something, but it's just, if you like racing games, it's nice to have. PS4 exclusives, at least at the time maybe, because some of these are probably on like different consoles or even PC at this point. I can't believe, again, I don't think I said something that was related to that, but I can't believe I haven't played some of these either. After playing Infamous 1 and 2, kind of for a while, for the first time, playing a game like Infamous Second Son just felt right. Infamous 2 was amazing. I don't think I can say anything very negative about that specific title in the franchise. That was incredible, actually. I was shocked how good that was. Infamous Second Son was fun. I don't think the story is that legendary or anything. It's not one that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. PlayStation 4 was kind of a generation I feel like that existed where you would see a specific game trailer or something and then you'd never think it was going to release. I remember seeing a trailer for The Last Guardian. I don't remember how long it was before the game actually released or something, but it was, I think, at least a couple years. Like it was this made-up thing. I almost thought it was like a fake video on the internet. Shadow of the Colossus is a first... What? It's a game I played for the first time. This is a remake, I think, of the PlayStation 2 title that I'd never played either, so I wasn't really knowing what the hell I was getting myself into. I found myself kind of just lost for the first 20 minutes I played it. I was just kind of riding my horse, wondering where the hell to go. I had to go to the internet. I was like waiting for this thing to show up to tell me where to go, and then I'm just like riding my horse. Once you kind of find out what the hell's going on, it becomes this oddly satisfying game too. Those two games that I played were just very oddly satisfying, but yet very addicting. PS4 just had games like this. Perfect examples of this. I don't know if this is like the last generation where this kind of existed, because at this point in time too, it almost felt like there was at least one good thing to play. This generation, it's kind of, you're waiting around sometimes for something really good to play, and then it's like taking forever for the next big thing to come out. Although this year's kind of been alright. This is actually a really good console to go back and revisit at this point, because after seeing some of the most current PlayStation 5 games and like how well they look, you always see comparisons. There's always comparisons whenever a new game comes out. People always be like, oh, this looks like a PlayStation 3 game or something like that. People are like making it sound like that's a bad thing or something, right? Like, that's not bad. If a game came out these days and looked like a PlayStation 3 game, I'm not complaining. Honestly, one of my favorite games in like the early stages, first 2 or 3 years of PlayStation 4 was Need for Speed 2015. I was somehow able to go back and play that with all my saved data still on the game. If that released last week, I would have no idea that that released 10 years ago. Almost to the day. It was like November of 2015 when that came out. Something about the PlayStation 4 era as well made you feel like the games were still more a bit. That makes no sense. They were very like serious. I heard someone say that. I keep forgetting that. I think of that sometimes. I forget what video it was. It was something, I think it was about PlayStation 4. It must have been, obviously. Someone was talking about how the PlayStation 4 generation, everything felt more serious. Games were more violent. They weren't so silly, right? Like they weren't afraid to make like a very nice campaign that may have been just crazy, insane, bloody, gore everywhere, like depressing and everything. Not like I like playing depressing games or something. It's just the PlayStation 4 generation felt like that still existed. I don't know how much that exists now, because to be honest with you, I haven't really played that many PlayStation 5 campaigns recently. Everything felt like it just had this very serious tone to it sometimes. Like you played a game and your heart was almost racing when you were just advancing in the story, because you had no idea what was going to happen. You were always sitting there sweating your ass off when you were playing or something, because it just felt like everything that happened in the game was almost so stunning. The Order 1886 is a perfect example of that. That game still stands as one of those games I still really never understood why people hated it so much. When I think of a game like Batman Arkham Knight, all I think about is how amazing the rain physics looked. I can't believe I'm saying this, but even Call of Duty was very good around this time still. I just went back and played Call of Duty World War II for the first time, the campaign for the first time. When the hell was that so good? I had no idea that campaign was amazing. Yeah, that's not that long either. That may have been one of the best Call of Duty campaigns I've played in maybe the last 10 years. After playing a campaign like Vanguard or something, I found myself just walking through some maps and looking around. Just at the environments, the detail around everything, the sounds of the weapons. It sounds so realistic and new still. Like, that's crazy that I'm sitting here saying that now. Imagine saying in 2025 that a Call of Duty campaign is the only reason why you're still playing the franchise. Like, some of these PlayStation 4 games will make you stop and look at it like it's a carrot cake on top of a milk truck. One very underrated thing about the PlayStation 4, maybe, I don't know if it is underrated, the system actually looks nice. As I look at a PlayStation 5, and it just bugs me kind of, it's not like it's probably the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but the PlayStation 4 was a very nice looking console. The controller was nice, and as I play more of the PlayStation 5, I'm starting to think I kind of hate the controller. Not because it's like badly shaped or the buttons are bad or anything like that, it's just because they break so easily. Half the time I'm just sitting there like a normal person. I just take my hands off the controller for 2 seconds, it's sitting on my lap, it slides off, shatters to pieces. Anyway, the PlayStation 4 is very impressive. The design, the Slim was even nice. The Pro was kind of weird looking, kind of looked like a stacked salami sandwich or something. It did sound like a space fighter jet taking off towards maybe a year or two after you had it, or maybe, yeah, maybe it was just supposed to be loud in general. I guess one really good thing about the PlayStation 5 is you can play a lot, and emphasize a lot, of games on the PlayStation 5 that are PS4 games. And I guess another really good thing about that is if you have the premium or extra subscription on PlayStation Plus or whatever, you can just download some of these games that are eligible to be played if you have one of those subscriptions. So it's not even like you have to legitimately have a PlayStation 4 sitting in front of your face to even be able to play this. And one thing that I did notice too is this generation had some game franchises that we may never see again, or just like a really good game from the franchise. I was playing the Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition and just thinking to myself, man, how sick would this be if they released another game in this franchise? And not even just games like that or franchises like that. Assassin's Creed or something. This was like the last generation too, where we had some Assassin's Creed games that really felt like you were playing an Assassin's Creed game. This was really maybe, I don't know, like 70% of the sentences I said in this damn video made any sense, but I don't know if this was the last generation that existed where you felt the leap from generation to generation. PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 did make you feel at times that some of these games could never look better than what they look like now. And then you took the leap from that generation, you bought a PlayStation 4, even if you had an Xbox One at the time, and you played one of the newest games that was out around like late 2013, 2014. I honestly don't know if we're ever going to see a leap like that again. Like when PlayStation 6 comes out, there's probably not a chance in hell. We are all going to experience GTA 6 on PlayStation 5, and that game is going to look incredible. It's almost kind of sad to think about that if you just sit down one day and just start thinking about a lot of things at once. There has to be a time on planet Earth where things just look so damn good that it's not possible to look any better. It just can't happen. We have like 8K TVs now, and I'm sitting there like an idiot in a Best Buy, in a Walmart electronics section, looking at an 8K TV and then going back to like a 4K one, even 1080p. I can't see anything. I can't tell the difference half the time. I'm serious when I say it. It's really hard to tell sometimes if there's really a big difference from like 8K to whatever the hell the old one is. I'm not saying that I'm not going to sit here and say PlayStation 5 is terrible, because there are some good games on it. I've experienced some of them, especially in the last like 2 years maybe. This generation may have even honestly had some of the greatest games of all time in it. Sometimes you don't even realize that. What was it, like 7 years that PlayStation 4 existed? And after playing some of these games again, I'm like, damn, this game is amazing. How good is this? Anyway, that's basically all I have. I don't know what else to say. I don't think anything that I said, this wasn't a video where I kind of sat down and did something very productive. I just basically want to stand here right now and talk about how amazing PlayStation 4 still is and how many amazing games are still existing from this era. I can't believe it, actually. It's something that I knew that this was amazing. I knew PlayStation 4 was awesome and everything, but after you play more of it, it's like, man, every time I play it, I just like it more. You know, it'd be sick if like one day they release, well, that makes no sense. Never mind.